Thank you, and welcome again from lunch. So probably the main theme of the topic of this is it is a research summary. It is a review of research done in obstructed labor and uterine rupture in Ethiopia. So I will try to have the feature what looks like and what are the recommendations for, because why we selected obstructed labor and uterine rupture is because it's the leading cause of maternal death in Ethiopia currently, accounting for about 25% of maternal disease attributed to uterine rupture. So this is the main thing. Then before that, probably this what we are looking is the Hausa University Referral Hospital where I'm working. So I would have a very few say about our country and Hawassa town and the university. So Ethiopia is on the northeast of Africa. Is a surface area of 1.1 million kilometers. That's 40 national, regional administrative bodies. And the population currently is about 92 million. 92 million. The recent data shows that. And of whom 50% are women and child. So when it says the economy is mainly dependent on agriculture, that employ about 50% of the population is agriculture. And when we say some of the health indicators, HIV prevalence, recent prevalence is 1.14%, being 4.2 for urban and 0.6 for rural. We have about 793,000 people living with HIV, with low rate of utilizing ART. So here, when you say it, female of reproductive age group, 18 million, accounting to 2.4% of the total population. So we have 2.7 pregnancy per annum, and of those 40% unwanted pregnancy, and 10 of these end up in abortion, probably reflecting how the contraception is low. And when we have 20% of contraception prevalence rate, and the most popular method is injectable one. We call it the Depo-Provera. But now we are in the line of shifting to the reversible, long-acting reversible contraceptions. When antenatal coverage is 34%, and amazingly the institutional delivery rate is very low. Despite the antenatal follow-up, women tend to give birth at home. And this is one of the critical time where we can intervene on maternal mortality is the delivery. But because this problem, we had some, and when we are a survey done by Federal Minister of Health regarding why women are failed to deliver a health institution, revealed that lack of transport 71%, lack of money 68%, and distance of health facility 66%, which probably needs a multiple type of interventions, according to the survey result. The ratio is 686, and infant and child mortality, as is mentioned here. So now, Hawassa is the town where the university where it is, and it's about 200 kilometers south of the capital city, Addis. And the university where I am working is established in 2000. It offers more than 60 fields of study in undergraduate, 43 postgraduate and PhD programs in 5 colleges. So here it has a total of 30,000 students on a regular basis. The college where we are here is one of the 5 colleges of the university. This is the College of Medicine and Health Sciences. And similarly, this was established a series of the establishment of the university, and it had a teaching and referral hospital. School of Medicine is one of them. There are 4 schools under this college. School of Medicine is one of the schools, and the School of Medicine has 97 academic staffs and 1,448 regular students, of which 378 are female, accounting 26% of the students are female. Department, specifically where I am, is one of the major departments under the school, and we staff of 7 gynecologists and obstetricians and 21 midwives. We are offering both teaching and clinical service. So in students, There are three categories of students we have. One is the undergraduate medical students. We have residents. We have started a residency program last year. So we have 2 batches, each 4, total 8 in 2 batches. And we have a special program for integrated emergency surgery and obstetrics program. It's offered for those who is bachelor and for training. Their main focus is in elevating and like to cesarean section, appendectomy, and so in the rural setups, the plan of the curriculum. So the clinical service, as usual, it will have an elective emergency and OPD inpatient services, among which we have in the OPD program, we have 2 special clinics recently. One is the cervical cancer screening program. We use VIA, and we have the cryotherapy and LEAP operationally. And we have sexual assault survivors clinic, special clinic. This will offer a service to a woman who has been assaulted. She will not go to the long process of the hospital. She will directly go to the clinic, so that and the service is free. And after the treatment, there is a kind of intervention linking with other psychosocial support groups. So coming to the OPD services, there are 1,034 new attending annual antenatal care. And on the inpatient services, yeah, we have gyne wards, total of 50 bed capacity. We have in the labor ward, we have in the first stage of level 7 beds and 4 delivery coaches. We have separate CS room linked with the labor ward. And the annual delivery is 3,478 of this. And the rate of cesarean section is 39.1. Probably the commonest of indication for this intervention for cesarean section is usually an labor abnormality, is arrest of labor abnormalities, gaps, CPD or malposition, and so on. So saying this one introduction, let's go to the review of an obstructed labor and uterine rupture. By proceeding with obstructed labor definition, I think it's clear epidemiologically. It's a very common problem in developing country. In Ethiopia, we don't have the national data, but a hospital-based study revealed that it accounts for about 2.28% of all deliveries are obstructed labor. When we see the socio-demographic profile of victims of obstructed labor, they are usually from rural areas with no antenatal care follow-up. Young age, these are because of the early marriage in our country. They are teens, and on the extreme, there are also a case of high fertility women. So the researches of different hospitals revealed that the commonest cause of obstructed labor is a contracted pelvis, probably related with the ungrown bone cavity of the teens, followed by malpresentation and malposition, which accounts 32.5%. Clinical presentation on admission. In obstructed labor, they are ketotic, dehydrated, and with the 3 tumor abdomen. Probably these are a kind of very specific technical words. In any way, they are the typical findings. So, most importantly, the prolonger with mean the labor history is the mean, the finding on that is 51 hours. So you can imagine how mothers are laboring for a long time. Management is also a kind of very technical thing, resuscitation with antibiotics and so on, but we do surgery. We are doing surgery. So depending on the outcome, I think this might not be very interesting for this audience. And anyway, complications of this are like uterine rupture in 22.5% of women obstructed have this risk. And then sepsis, vesicovaginal fistula, probably she was earlier mentioned by our colleague from Ethiopia. She was saying how fistula is common. And we have the data revealed that yearly there are 1,000 women developing fistula in Ethiopia because of obstructed labor. And this is something related with human rights and with our, the health service and so on and so on. So the impact, even they survive, they have chronic lifelong morbidity. So this is a disaster. Fetal complication practically is rare to survive the fetus once the uterine obstructed level. But more than 50% are stillbirth, but those who are born, in the figures are main morbidities. Next is about the uterine rupture. It's a common obstetric hazard in developing country, and the incidence varies between 1 in 38 to 1 in 210 deliveries, because there are a kind of hospital based studies. Very difficult to represent the real scenario, and there are many variations as mentioned because of variation in service coverage and so on. So in one hospital they found 1 in 38, in one in 110, which is a gap, very gap. Etiologies: obstructed liver is the leading cause of uterine rupture. So 79.6% end up in obstructed in uterine rupture, while there are also iatrogenic and dehiscence. In any way, these are commonly found factors among the victims of uterine rupture. There are multifara, lack of antenatal care, rural residence, and so on. So the common presentation of victims are usually abdominal pain, with second is vaginal bleeding. But the presentation of uterine rupture is very, unless you have high index of suspicion, it is misleading. So because the presentation varies, it varies. And in one study says 25% of uterine rupture was detected intraoperatively. It was not diagnosed preoperatively. So it needs a higher index of suspicion to diagnose uterine rupture. Management, the same thing, is not also, I think, the focus of this group about the detailed things. Anyway, the management is surgical. We use surgical. And the sites also is another thing which are very specific technically, with reasons for not knowing that the lower return segment, anterior, is the commonest site of the finding on the rupture. Why? Because it needs some complications. They have high maternal and fetal mortality rate. And in our setup, the status of those who died maternally, 25% are because of obstructed uterine rupture. It's the leading cause of maternal mortality and morbidity. So, and they have a long-term and immediate complications of the survivors, like suffering with fistula and with high post-operative complications. With regard to the long-term complications, also there is the chronic pelvic pain, infertility, and so on. So what is the most important, the fatality is significantly associated with the labor duration. The higher the duration, the likely to die is higher. Even all cases are rupture, the one with long history of laboring is the higher the chance to die. When you say from this one, 79.6 hours among the who dies, the duration of labor, versus 58.8 for all cases. Okay, so now what is the point here? The point is, how do you prevent and control this problem? Because maternal and neonatal mortality is more just a health, not only a health problem. Beyond that, it's also a human right in social justice. So it's also a vital factor that affects the economic and social aspect of the society, and therefore risks cannot be eliminated once conception is started. But I think if there are some interventions, they could be minimized or you can reduce it. So what strategies are proposing? We have this problem. The first one is delaying childbearing, because this inherent risk of adolescent and young women, and government, community, and family members have the vital role in helping young women to acquire basic sexual and reproductive knowledge. The second one, delay marriage and childbearing, because usually they are married forced by family. They are being picked from school and interrupted their marriage. So by delaying childbearing, you can make a difference on maternal mortality and morbidity. This is one of the proposals. The second one, addressing problems of unintended pregnancy and unsafe abortion. Here, I think the core is abortion service might be back up, but the most important is the prevention of unintended pregnancy, which is mainly by offering a family planning service, which is affordable, accessible, and feasible. So this is another, when a woman has prevent unintended pregnancy, complications. The third one is provision of quality maternity care to all pregnant mothers. So with a service which is accessible, acceptable, and effective. So how we can do? Probably from what we learned from this training, the 5 why. Why is not accessible service? We have to ask and to have some interventions. At least you can do some differences, taking our resources. So, but this is the provision. The service is important in alleviating the existing high maternal morbidity and mortality in our country. The other thing is measuring progress. So this maternal days is difficult to measure for several reasons. Spending scarce resources on trying to measure maternal mortality level, it's important to analyze each maternal days. Analysis which will come out with some findings which are important to utilize for further interventions. And this actually we have already started. The Federal Minister of Health has already dispatched the questionnaires, and it is must to have a maternal audit in each hospital. So that's why we have this audit. We have started. Fortunately, I'm the chairperson of this committee. What we are doing currently is whenever there is days, at any time, it could be night or day or weekends, the one who around or who is attending the intervention will fill the form. It will be the form. And then weekly we have a meeting. The committee will make it a meeting and revise. And it come out probably the delays. Is that delay 1, delay 2, or delay 3? Why this mother died? Is that preventable or not? If it's preventable, a comment will be given. So this will be shared with the referring hospitals and the staffs. This have already started. So monitoring of progress indicator is useful to measure how far a goal has been achieved, to understand how much policies and programs are based on reliable information, and then to design programs that are directly relevant to specific intervention. And the last one is about the power of partnership. I think there is a need of partnership, like what we are now dealing with, the intersectoral approach and a partnership, because this is not solely cannot be by one organization or one system only. So as stated, this is and it addresses in a way that has been multi-sectoral approach, which involves the community actively. And probably I was just amusing and interesting on yesterday presentation from Thailand experience, how it works, and this is one of our recommendation in tackling maternal death and morbidity in Ethiopia. So thank you very much. This is what I have.